Soldier brings you today's video. Clive Ifrit's Dominant versus Nahiri, Lightning and Firion. I've been playing around with Lightning. It's a more difficult commander to build than you might realise, so hopefully I'll be able to take some tips from my opponent here. We keep this because we have Wayfarer's Bauble for turn 1 and 2. I think I have this in the 99 of my Lightning deck actually, because I built it as a bit of a Voltron theme and then added some burn. I don't know if to lean more into the gold mechanics, so yeah, we'll see what this guy does. Hopefully he sticks around. Freya Crescent can tap for equipment, spells and abilities. Rabbit Battery, +1/+1 and haste, and that swings into the right. And Nahiri going against the grain, not getting down a turn 1 spell here. Demolition Field we draw into, so just get down as much red mana as possible. Just realised actually we've probably got 3 equipment decks that we're up against here, weirdly. Don't think I've ever come across that before. Freya swings in down the middle, does not want to play an equipment with it. Pure Steel Paladin for Lightning, so we'll be able to equip things for free with Metalcraft. That will require 3 artifacts. We get hit by the rabbit this time. A living weapon from Nahiri, as we would expect, Hexgold Halberd. And this one is First Strike and Trample, obviously comes down with a 2/2. Defiler of Instinct, a bit of ramp for us, and can start pinging along something like Damage Doublers and Torbrand. This will mount up, does it to any target. Not going to make my opponents worry though. Let's go for cracking the Wayfarer's Bauble, and hopefully we can start to get some devotion down next turn. Another living weapon, Red Mage's Rapier. +2 to power, and is a wizard in addition to the other types. Freya swings in at us this time. Oh, and they've got the speed counter going as well, must be from this. Amonkhet Raceway, so they're up to level 2 with that. And with the max speed on this, they can give a creature haste. Lightning Army of 1 into play for the first time. I think this is 1 to equip. So, yeah, can't make use of the Paladin yet. Only has 4 cards in hand. I'm not sure how much he's going to be able to do with Lightning. Another living weapon, that is Bitterthorn, so that will swing in and allow to search for a basic. And this guy's down to 3 cards. So hopefully we don't see any card draw from them. 2/2 First Strike Trample in against the 1/1. And we didn't draw into another land, so it's a good job I went for that Wayfarer's Bauble, because I want to get down a 4/4 First Striker here. And then if we're still not drawing into lands, it might be an idea to go for the Cavalier and loot some stuff away. Or rummage in red, I suppose. Freya being equipped now, and swings that in down the middle. It does have flying because she's a dragoon, so flies straight over everything. Had to pay 3 to re-equip this, which is the problem with the living weapons. But gets up to level 3, taps out and passes. Curse of Opulence, our opponent is trying to encourage players to swing in at us, and they'll get a gold token for their efforts. Selfless Saviour to give Indestructible. So again, I'm not seeing Lightning doing too much here, unfortunately. She does have Trample though, but can't get through our 4/4, so goes to the left, which means any damage dealt to this player for the next turn cycle after being hit by Lightning will be doubled. It's effective on their permanents as well, so it could be worth going for the Mog Mob, although these are only 1/1s anyway, so the double damage wouldn't matter there. We'll see what the Nahiri player does after dropping a Sol Ring. A Nettle Seist is going to get +1/+1 for each artifact and enchantment our opponent has. Down to 2 cards though. These players are not going to do too well after a board wipe. So that's a 4/4, drops a land, that is Sir Kenzan, and now 0 cards in hand. Intangible Virtue, +1/+1 and Vigilance on the token creatures, which means the germs will survive if they get unequipped. 2/2 down the middle, 3/3 down the middle, and he gets to Rampant Growth thanks to the sword here. Now I do have fetches in the deck specifically for Cavalier of Flame, but we're not seeing any of them unfortunately, otherwise it would be a decent one-sided board wipe here whilst our opponent's creatures are quite weak. Holding up a Braid might not be the worst. I don't think it's too much of an issue yet though. I'm thinking I want to get creatures out, although this having good devotion after a board wipe, a creature board wipe would be good. And we're missing lands as well, so that's probably going to be a good idea. Alright, let's go Seasoned Pyromancer and see if we can drop a land here. So we pay 2 life and 2 mana. And then this is 1 damage to any target, so the Freya's hit us a few times. So I'll go after the Freya. And this will be double damage, don't forget, but it doesn't matter because it's 1 damage on 1 toughness. And I think I want to discard the mob. That could be good is the problem. All our cards in hand could be useful. Yeah, I think I'm going to try and get into something other than mob because it's good while it's in play for the devotion, but we're just looking for a board wipe pretty much. And I'll give up reluctantly on the Sword of Hearth and Home as well. Alright, and that does get us into a land. So we can go for accelerating here. Arcane Signet and get Count on Luck. And that worked out very well for us. Have to take another 2 life to get this in, but hopefully going to be worth it. I want to ping the Selfless Saviour so that he can't mess around with lightning too much. And then we're holding back a 4/4 first strike, I think. Although we could deal 8 damage to this guy, encourage him to block. But then lightning's coming in towards us quite easily. So yeah, I'm just going to hold back here, as tempting as 8 damages on this guy. I don't want all these tokens, especially with something like this swinging in towards us when we're getting double damage dealt. And we're looking like we're in a half decent spot for drawing a good amount of cards with our Clive now. Although I'd be tempted to get the Cavalier in first, even though we're not going to discard all that many to it. The Red Mage's Rapier going back onto the token. Not sure why he's holding on to as many cards as he is. He's managed to get a Valakut into play. He'll need to see another couple of mountains before that becomes relevant. And thanks to us getting rid of Freya, he doesn't manage to get up to level 4 with this. +1/+1 going on to Lightning, which means our Defiler and Lightning will trade. Trailblazer's Boots, they don't have Metalcraft yet. Ironically, when they swing in, they'll get a gold token, assuming they swing in at us. And that will get them the Metalcraft. They'll potentially have lost Lightning doing that though. Alright, and does not swing in, so no double damage to worry about during this cycle. I think it was definitely the right thing, holding this back. Nahiri into play is not what we wanted to see with the living weapons available, but he's only got 1 card in hand at least. I haven't seen the Vandal Blast yet, which I'll be all too happy to play. 6/6 Vigilance in at us, I'll just chump probably. 2/2 Vigilance to the left, and the other one goes down the middle. 2/2 First Strike Trample Vigilance. They get to Rampant Growth off the sword. Gold token for attacking us. Nahiri will look at 3 cards. And he shows us a Boros Charm, Rayav, and a Snow Plains. Doesn't show us any equipment. Might as well get out the Rayav though, because that's going to be a really good one. Giving double strike. Doesn't look as though any other blocks are being made by our opponents. Does decide to play Rayav, and goes down to 0 cards in hand. A Cloudsteel Kirin. The equipped creature has flying, and you can't lose the game. Your opponents can't win. This does have to be equipped in order to be relevant with that ability though. Now Count on Luck is going to get some card advantage hopefully. It would be good to get a land so that we could Abrade and then Clive. Looks like we're probably losing out on Cavalier after all. We get Suplex, the other version of Cavalier. Now the top card of our library is a Torbran. Couldn't find it there. So now Torbran is very, very tempting with the Defiler. Means we can blow up bigger creatures, like ones with 3 toughness for instance. So I think I'm going to go for that. That is going to be 3. And then we'd need to go for a 3 mana spell again, which we can't afford with Cavalier. So this is where I should have just given up on that and gone for the mob instead, but it's well worth having Torbran, I think. And in fact, this means that there's no point paying the life, so we'll just go for the regular cost. 1 damage, I'm not going to go after this guy because I'm scared he's going to scoop, but ideally I'd go after this and then it's a free run through to attacking him. He's got another turn. Next turn he's got a full grip as well, so is he really going to scoop? This will be a lot better once Torbran's in play, like I said, and hopefully we'll get to play with that. Yeah, I'm going to go for it. Another thing I could do, I want to blow up Nettleseist, and so I could target this for 1 damage marker, and then it'll die once the equipment goes down, but I think it's going to be better to hold up Abrade at instant speed. Be tempted to go for Suplex to exile something at sorcery speed, but again, we might be able to do that and then Clive next turn. Haven't been too good on mana. I'm going to hold back my damage again, and I'll potentially punish an opponent for coming in towards us. The longer we wait, of course, the longer it's likely that we're going to see a board wipe, which would reduce our devotion by quite a lot. but that's why I wanted to get this in. So we've at least got 5 once Clive enters. 4 mountains in play next to that Valakut. And deciding to gamble, we'll have to discard at random. He'll have 5 cards in hand though, so it's not too bad. And discarded, that's a really good new one from the Final Fantasy set, Gilgamesh. Can't remember which deck I put that in. Again deciding to pass, so... oh no, maybe he is just waiting for some kind of board wipe, but he's wide open here. He might have some kind of spot removal. So we better hope that lightning doesn't attack him. A Sticky Fingers Menace. When it deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. When it dies, draw. Noteworthy he did have access to a Trailblazer's Boots, which will make him unblockable to anything. And does have Equip for 0, so decides to equip that now. Maybe he was just eager for making a treasure. If he's going to hit here anyway, then it's just going to pay for itself. A Whisper Silk Cloak. Can equip for free as well. So that enters and draws a card with the Pure Steel. I'm more worried about this guy at the moment, because if we get hit by lightning, which I have a feeling we're going to, then the double damage from here, is it as bad if lightning doesn't hit us? This is where you want to be able to talk to your opponents, but you just wait around forever on Magic Online if you try and chat to anyone. Okay, that's a nice surprise. So we gambled and don't end up getting hit. So that is 4 lightning damage and double damage for the rest of the cycle, which means that with this, whenever we cast a red permanent, the damage is doubled first and then you add 2 with Torbrand, so it'll actually be 4, not 6. But still good for a free trigger. Reconfigure for the Cloudsteel Kirin goes on to the Nahiri. So now that's a flyer. You can't lose, your opponents can't win. It might be that lightning is punished here. He's got double strike to consider, don't forget. And he had Path to Exile, so that goes on to the Rayav. So us allowing lightning priority, it had to pass by us and the other player and through to lightning. But risking that has made him use his own spot removal there. So slightly less worrying. And decides to... yeah, might be a bit reactionary, but maybe he was looking to do that anyway. I mean, you do want to be swinging in with the quick creatures in this deck, and he's hoping to get some blockers up. Gets a Rampant Growth on the Bitterthorn again. Shows us a Sunforger, which I don't like the look of. Organic Extinction. Talisman of Conviction. So this is 10 to play. He's got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 with the Improvise, so luckily he can't afford it. And yep, I had a feeling our opponent would go for the Sunforger. I'll wait for him to equip it, because he can do this at instant speed, I think. Yes. So I'm just going to blow it up in response to the equip cost here. Draws down Arcane Signet, which was the only card in his hand. Noteworthy that this thing is now a 10-10. Plays Talisman from Exile off his commander. Not sure we saw Jorkadim previously either, but that's in Exile as well. Not sure if he can play that this turn, maybe I missed it. Yes, he can get down the first Gold Warden. Not equipping his Sunforger though. So... we've got a chance now. We can go for Sunforger is probably the most intelligent play. And then hopefully we get into a land here. We can go for the Suplex, exile the Whisper Silk, and go for our commander. I think is what I'm hoping for. Anyway, we destroy the Sunforger most likely. So exile the top 2 card. We're looking at 2 cards a turn, which helps the chance along with mana. Professional Facebreaker might help, but yeah, maybe we could... alright. Well, we've got a land, so we can still go for Suplex if we want to, but I could also get down Professional Facebreaker. That's a permanent for 2 mana, and then we could still go for 3, 4, 5 into our commander. That means that we get to hit some things a couple of times. It does mean that we're giving up on Suplex, and therefore leaving the Cloak in play though. But I think I'd like to get down this and start generating a bit more mana. So we're taking more life into the Defiler. And this is going to be damage doubled on this guy's stuff, isn't it? So let's go after his Nahiri. And that should be 1 double to 2, plus 2 is 4. And it is, so Nahiri goes down. Should be easy enough to get it out again, but it'll have Summoning Sickness at least. So yeah, I think we just have to go for Clive. I've diced with danger too much. So take 2 life to it again. I'm potentially going to swing in for the Facebreaker here. Noteworthy that if we hit an opponent with First Strike and then the same opponent with non-First Strike, it will trigger this twice, whereas you usually have to spread damage around different players. They've got a means of card draw here, so let's get rid of Joker Dean. I don't like that trample on it either. And attacks might be dictated by the amount of treasure we feel as though we can get here. So we draw a whole bunch. Still don't have a means of haste there, unfortunately. Oh yes we do, we've got Urabrask. Alright, let's go through to attacks. I think I want to hit this guy and go down the middle. That'll give us a couple of treasure. The first strike seems to be holding them back quite well, so I think we'll just have to make do with that. And then we can get down the Needlehead, and that will dissuade them from drawing more cards because they've got Torbrand to think about as well with that. So Facebreaker triggers once on each player, and then we're in for the Needlehead. Suppose I could have swung in more and then discarded hand size with Glinthorn Buccaneer. That might have been an idea if I'd gone in with the Defiler or even the Seasoned Pyromancer. Yeah, that could have been an idea to discard to hand size with this and then deal 3 damage per card discarded. Would have been 4 damage to each player with this. Anyway. Oh, I accidentally paid 2 life into that again. Alright, well, we're dealing more damage apparently. Get rid of the Flying Enabler. So I suppose at this point maybe I could just take more life and go into Kedis. Maybe that would have been a good idea all along. Although I did it by accident here. Yeah, just totally brain farted at the end of the turn there. I could always have cast this for 2 mana, couldn't I? Oh well, the only damage we're taking here is to our own Defiler of Instinct. But we'll get rid of the Vigilance First Striker as well. And then ironically we're going to put lands in the bin here once the Cavalier can't see them anymore. Throw away the fetches. Hopefully I'm going to ramp ahead next turn. We don't have haste, so I'm going to give up on the Copper Dragon. And we don't have an easy means of haste, I should say. And well, we're going for a bit of a burn game, seemingly. I'll just hope that this guy isn't going to wipe the board. Otherwise I'll regret getting rid of Atali. Yeah, get rid of that. Atali will be good after a board wipe. So an opponent draws a card, they get Lightning Bolted. I think we do have Wheel of Fortune in the deck actually, so with the current setup this would be a hell of a threat. Playing out is Firion for the first time. And a Samurai's Katana. +2/+2 trample and haste. Comes in with a 1/1. And he gets a copy of it with his commander until the end of the turn. Which means he gets 2 tokens. He'll get to keep the hero token as well. Although this will be sacrificed at the end of the turn. We've still got decent blockers held back thankfully. I think this has been the MVP for us this game. That first strike makes all the difference. I'm just looking at what we might do next turn actually. We can afford a 5 mana Fiery Emancipation into a 3 mana Lynx. I just need to work out how much damage that will deal. We are being hit by something because of the Curse of Opulence triggering. Both of these coming in towards us. 3/3 haste trample and a 3/3 haste trample. So I'm not against losing my Clive to be honest because we can just replay it again. So I'll block with that. Block with the first striker and see if they can buff at all. If they can, it's not the end of the world. And yeah, we saw something coming. Target attacking creature +2/+2 and trample. Whenever it deals damage to a player, destroy an artifact they control. So going after our Defiler. I think I wanted to concentrate more on ramp next turn anyway. Oh, but of course they didn't consider the first strike, did they? So it still wasn't buffed up enough to deal with our Defiler. It would have been had first strike not have been on there. Anyway, they just wasted a card and lost both of their tokens. Is that right? That was a 1/1 token with +2/+2, made it a 3/3, and then this gave it +2/+2. Maybe I'm missing something there, I'm not sure. That should have worked like that actually. I'll have to check that out during the edit. Another lightning bolt from the Needlehead. The cloak is equipped to the Pure Steel Paladin this time. That would have been an argument for blowing this up. I know it's a means of card draw and the Metalcraft ability is really good, but keeping Shroud on lightning might really hurt because you can't equip or enchant anything onto it, which is obviously what our opponent is looking to do here. But I just wanted to concentrate on this guy's board. So draws when the gift enters, that will give flying, and they'll get lightning bolted again thanks to the draw. I did say they have to be careful with that. This guy's done well considering he has only had 3 lands in play all game, but I think the curse would have been better going over to the left in hindsight because he hasn't been able to attack us that frequently. Cloak back onto lightning, it is already unblockable but wants the shroud on there apparently. I think the next chance we get we're blowing this thing up, although we can probably just get rid of this player entirely. So lightning currently a 4/3 flying haste, non-basic landwalk, shroud, menace with first strike, trample and lifelink. so he has to weigh up if that lifelink's worth it. Probably isn't. Just thinking maybe we could push Clive through with Fiery Emancipation in play as well. Get this thing out of the way. That would be lightning bolted to the Defiler anyhow. And then swing in, this would be 15 plus 2 points of damage, and then that would be dealt to everyone thanks to the Kedis, assuming it's still in play. Anyway, the Darksteel mutation goes on to Torbrand, so might not care about that anymore if we're going for the Fiery Emancipation plan. And then lightning does come in to hit us, so he'll gain a bit of life. Didn't get this thing in play quite in time, because players won't be able to gain life with that. I was considering with the Defiler putting in Basilisk Collar, mainly for the Death Touch, but the lifelink wouldn't be terrible either, but a bit of a non-bo with this, although the Death Touch would still be relevant, so might be worth including. Anyway, it makes a gold token, and we go down to 27, our first 4 points of lightning damage. Only 1 damage from the Needlehead this time, thanks to Torbrand being switched off. So that means now, assuming that you can't get rid of Clive, we would have to go Fiery Emancipation, play another permanent to ping this out of the way and swing in that way instead. Nahiri can still easily enter, with plenty of mana held up, still only 1 card at least. And the Halberd goes on there, First Strike and Trample. Then Call the Forge Master. Creature tokens that are enchanted or equipped get +1/+1. But not seeing any haste from the other Boros player. And our opponent's seeing what a threat we are here, so still no evasion, but they get to trigger Nahiri a few times at least, along with getting a gold token and Rampant Growth. Seeing from him a Helm of the Host, we're not all that worried about yet, and a land. So we want to take the 3 probably and chump the 11. Bear in mind we'd have a much higher life total if I hadn't been taking damage to this, and it's double damage as well, so we actually go down to 15 thanks to the lightning. Plays Helm of the Host for free, equips that now to the Nahiri, but we won't be worried about that until next turn. So as it stands now, if Clive hits, it's triple damage. Once we've played Fiery Emancipation, that's 15, then it'll be 15 damage floating with Kedis, which will be tripled again to each other opponent. So I think it's kind of now or never, because our opponents have turned on us now, rightly so. So I think we just have to try here. Now we get into the haste with the Hammer of Perforos and a Felwar Stone. So can we get down any rocks here? Does it even matter if this is a Hail Mary? Yeah, I think I at least want to get down Throne of Eldraine. Taps for 4. Yeah, taps for 4 of the coloured mana for some reason. Should probably be 3. This will be interesting to see if any priority's been held up anywhere. This guy isn't holding up priority, even though he's got 3 cards and mana. So maybe that changes once we go to attacks, or once we get the Emancipation into play. So let's take 2 life again, because I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing here. And that's a permanent, so just a ping here. Yeah, we'll get rid of the Pure Steel Paladin, we'll play another permanent. Noteworthy that we've got a little bit of a non-bo here, I've just noticed. This deals damage to a player equal to the number of non-basics they control, that's every player. And it's a source of damage we control, and this is to a permanent or player as well, including us. So we can get this down anyway, but we're going to take 3 to our own demo field. Oh, actually saying that, we can't afford it anyway, can we? So Glinthorn Buccaneer is the permanent that we're playing, but a combo that's worth pointing out there. And the ping gets rid of the Pure Steel Paladin, which perhaps we should have done before now. We want to be dealing as much damage as we can to get the treasures. We've got an indestructible blocker held back. Let's go First Strike damage and Menace damage to the left, and then Clive straight down the middle. This guy's First Strike as well, but it's up against a 3/3. And then the 11/11 is still in play, so we're not getting through there. Although we could try and go wide, but he's got, yeah, a 3/3 and a 5/4. Probably not worth it. If we make the 3 treasure tokens here, then yeah, maybe we can take First Strike down the middle as well. So then we get the 4 treasure and can definitely go for the links. So First Strike damage is dealt first. I hope this guy doesn't scoop, because we need Clive to hit. And he does quit. That is incredibly annoying. Well, that changes the outcome of the game, doesn't it? Yeah, well, what should have happened there is Clive hits for 15 on our opponent, and then Kedis wants to hit for 15 on the other 2, but that damage is tripled as well, and we take them out. That's not going to happen now, because this guy Can't wait an extra 3 seconds. It's kind of like a petty victory. I've seen it on Magic Arena as well. They want to scoop before they've actually lost, even though it won't take a long time for them to lose. Let's go for the links at least. If we're going down, then we can go down in a fit of glory. That is triple damage on this thing again. So let's just go after this guy's face, because it looks as though the Living Death player has won anyway. Oh, we've got Torbrand back, which I didn't account for, so in hindsight, that would have been 3 damage onto him, plus 2. We could have got rid of Nahiri, force him to re-equip this. Anyway, whatever. We go from 9 down to 3, and this player went down to 18, and we will await our demise. He's dealt 1 damage, tripled his 3 plus 2, he goes down to 13. Inspiring Leader, creature tokens +2/+2, we're dying to those either way, so that doesn't really make any difference. Helm of the Host going to double up his Nahiri, and his Nahiri does have trample. Well, maybe we can survive. Doesn't swing in with everything, he probably should do, yeah, I was going to say, he pulled the call back. I don't think you should be worried about losing permanents at this point. Just need to get rid of us as quick as you can. Now, the cards are exiled with Nahiri, it's not card draw, so doesn't trigger the Needlehead. Gets himself into a Ganjo. Embercleave. Embercleave is double strike, which he can play for free. So, yeah, he definitely has us. Liquimetal Torque, he can, I think, do the ability. I think he can do the ability on Ganjo to get rid of a blocker that jumps in the way of Trample, which would work. Liquimetal Torque, land, Dragon Throne of Tarkir, and Gold Warden's Gambit. And so puts the Trample on the Vigilance, that works as well. 16/16, double strike, Trample and Vigilance. It was only a matter of time before that big thing became relevant. So I'm just going to take the damage here, see how much we go down by. Oh, actually it will only be the first strike on the 16 that we're worried about. And on the Commander as well. Still go down to -18, so yeah, middle opponent obviously screwed us there, but it shows what we want to do with Clive, and I think it panned out quite well for us. Strange that we didn't see a board wipe throughout the entire game, but I've said before that I actually quite like games where there's not a lot of interaction and board wipes, as long as they operate at a slower pace like this Bracket 3 game did. Then it allows everyone to pretty much do whatever they want to do. So as ever, let me know in the comment section if you want to see more from Clive. I look at the views, the likes, and the multiple comments that any video receives. And if there is an abundance of wanting for a commander, then I will play it again. Massive thank you to the patrons for their financial support of the channel as ever. I'm tribalkai. Thank you for watching.